Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for the continued support. Karibuni sana guys. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment. Yeah, thank you. Okay, today we are talking about addiction. This topic was recommended to me by a friend sometimes back. At first I thought it was not a very common or very important topic, but during my research I recognized that it is a crucial topic that needs to be addressed in the best way possible. So when you hear about addiction, what comes to your mind? Okay, addiction is something that you are used to doing. It's a behavior or getting used to using something, and it's the consistency. With addiction, it comes about through consistency. You have to have been engaged in that behavior for quite some time without being able to survive without it. And the most common type of addiction that most of us know is, when you hear the term addiction, we go direct to drug and alcohol abuse, which in the long run people get addicted. But there are various types of addictions that are there. It is not only drug and alcohol abuse, and I'm going to be addressing some of them. You could be addicted to those behavior without really having the knowledge that you are addicted. And I have some of the causes of addiction. Most of them are going to lean on drug and alcohol addiction, but there are causes that cause addiction, or the types of addiction. And number one is peer pressure. When we hear about the term peer pressure, the first thing that comes to our mind is friends, peers, or people of the same age group or age set. They can influence each other to do or to engage in certain behaviors where they feel is right for their age or for their peers, and to fit in that group you end up doing what they are doing. The other one is unstable home environments. There are people who come from homes where there is no peace, there is no one to listen to you. You fall in the trap of getting addicted to a certain behavior or getting addicted to using certain things because of the home environment. The other one is parental drug abuse. This is mostly a cause for drug and alcohol addiction. If you find that in some homesteads there are parents who use drugs, and in such instances you find that even the kids end up using them or trying them out, at times even without the knowledge of the parents. The other one is a presence of drugs at home and school. I think it is a Kenyan law that you're not supposed to set up a wines and spirits, a club, or a bar near a school, because kids are in the learning stage, so they'll feel like trying it out. And having drugs at home or at school, you find that they try them out. You find that most people who are addicted to drugs, they tried them while they were at home or while they were at school without even their knowledge. The other one is community attitudes and influences. There are some communities that accept the use of certain drugs, engagement in certain behaviors, and people in turn get addicted. The other one is a poor academic achievement. And as kids or as young adults in school, you could find that you're having too much pressure to do well in school. And you find that most people, they find themselves in the trap of using drugs to get away from the pressure. Maybe you didn't perform well, maybe you are not a fast learner, and you're getting the pressure from school, from home. You end up using drugs or engaging in certain behaviors so that you fit, so that you can satisfy your mind and get over it. And that is not a long-term solution. The use of drugs, getting addicted, is not a long-term solution. So I'll have the types of addiction. As I said earlier, the most common type of addiction that we know is drug and alcohol addiction, but there are various of them. We have the drug and alcohol abuse. Then we have, because of the coming of the internet, we have some addiction that comes from the activities of the internet. I'll be highlighting. There's also the getting addicted to use of drugs that are prescribed or over-the-counter drugs, etc., etc. I'll handle the alcohol addiction. This is basically the use of alcohol substances, and people ignore the fact that there are consequences to using them, and they continue using them without really minding what the effects will be. And the long-term effect is that you get addicted to a point that you're not going to survive without it, and you ignore that there are illnesses that are caused by that drug. I remember we used to learn that there are diseases like lung cancer, liver cirrhosis, etc., that come about by the use of alcohol. Then the drug addiction is the use of basically the drugs. There are many: cannabis sativa, there's heroin, there's cocaine, there's mirror, etc. So you find that your body can't do without it. You have to use it so that you can be able to engage in the day-to-day activities. You can be having headaches, such. And with drug and alcohol addiction, it really has effects because it can bring financial constraints, breakages of families, loss of jobs, etc. It is good to be careful. Then prescription addiction. This is basically addiction about over-the-counter drugs. Okay, we all know about painkillers, and we take them when we have pain and you are not able to reach healthcare. So what you do is take painkillers, and the next thing is look for a healthcare. But there are people who are used to taking painkillers to a point that they can't do without it. A little headache, a little pain somewhere, they are using Panadols, they're using Maramoja. If they want to sleep, they have to use Piriton. They can't do without the drugs. That's how you know that you have addiction of prescription drugs addiction. Then there's gambling. This has come about because of especially the internet. Okay, with gambling, how people get addicted to gambling, they obsess with the thought of gambling and the anticipation of having big wins. So what you do is you say, hey, I'll bet with 100 bob and I win 5,000. I agree, at times you win, but it is not all the time that you win. So you get obsessed with that. Okay, this one, it doesn't have a physical effect, and you can't look at someone and know they are addicted to gambling, but this is a type of gambling and is very dangerous. Especially it can lead to financial constraints, it can lead to even breakages in families, and you anticipate to win big, so you look for money. Unaweza pata mtu alibet na 100 bob akawin 5,000. The next thing they do is they place the 5,000 with the anticipation of winning 100,000. At times they lose it into something that you can't get over very easily. Then there is eating addiction. Okay, food is sweet. Like, eating is good. To feel poor, but you can have the obsession of food or food addiction, and you find that there are people who take so much food. There are others who don't want to take. There's an addiction that is even difficult even to deal with, and it can be a mental issue because you could not be having that, you could not be knowing that you have a food addiction. The other one is gaming addiction. Hey, with this one, you can do, like, you can place schoolwork kind of, you don't have a social life. You find that kids wako tu kwa games. Kwanza nowadays, with this zinaitwa PS4, what, etc. You find that they don't have even a social life. They're playing, they wake up gaming. Every time is gaming. They don't have a social life. They are used to that. They can neglect responsibilities such as personal hygiene and even schoolwork. They can even forgo sleep. It is good to control how you do these things. The other one is pornography addiction. With this one is where someone is addicted to watching those graphic images of people having sex or having sexual intercourse. And with this one, when you get addicted to this one, you want to see more of it. It is even difficult to have a relationship with your partner. You can't even enjoy sex with a partner because you're used to watching it and getting satisfied to that. That's very dangerous, and dealing with it also is very difficult. You feel to watch more of it all the time. There's also the social media addiction. Like, you can't do without the social platforms like Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's Telegram, Instagram, all those ones, YouTube. Like, you are addicted anytime, all the time. You are on social media. This is another type of addiction that I think most of the people today are facing that without maybe their knowledge, because you find that internet is cheap. There's Wi-Fi almost everywhere, at workplaces, at homes. It is good to control it. So the other point I have is addiction treatment. Yes, you can treat addiction. You don't have to remain there just because you got addicted to doing something. You don't have to live in that cocoon forever. You can get out of it. You can decide to come out of it, because that is not the end of everything. So some of the treatments, especially number one for drug and alcohol abuse, what people do is they're detoxified, basically detoxification. Hapo ni maybe drugs, some of the drugs can be taken out of your body. Also people go to rehabilitation centers where you start training your body, taking drugs little by little, because it can't happen overnight. You can't just stop at once. It can have long-term effects to your body, even pains to your body. So what you do is you stop it slowly. The other one is you can be treated through professional help. Nowadays there are so many therapists that can take you through that, through the healing process, of course, at a fee. It is not free. Just have to make the decision to stop the addiction. The other one is about social media. It is good to, or especially the internet, is good to manage your time. Manage the time that you spend on the social media platforms. Don't let it take over you or take over your mind. You should be sit at the driver's seat. You should know what to do. The other one is counseling with group therapy. Yeah, those are the common ones. If you're ready to stop a certain addiction, maybe you got into it without your knowledge. Nowadays it is good. You can search on the internet. There's so many professionals who can help you go through that. And it doesn't mean that you have to book a physical appointments. Even especially nowadays, you can book an online program, and your doctor is going to help you, or the therapist is going to help you go through that. But number one, you have to be willing to do it, because no one is going to do it for you. And addiction isn't a good thing, because you find that people want to live those behaviors or those things, but they can't because they're used to. Yeah. Guys, thank you for watching. See you next time.